Hey everybody, welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. Little nighttime review tonight, guys. Doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about this whiskey here. It's Mellow Corn, bottled in bond by Heaven Hill. But Heaven Hill is only the most recent owner of this brand. This whiskey here has been around since, I believe, 1945 under different ownership. And I've never had this whiskey, guys. It's still unopened. It's kind of funny how I chose this whiskey. I was at a bottle barn the other day and kind of just looking around, seeing what kind of, lower price, maybe even bottom shelf whiskeys that were there that I hadn't tried already. And I saw this one. The label caught my eye. Not necessarily because it's anything fancy. As you can see, it's just a yellow label with a barrel sitting in some corn, and this is the original label used for this brand, guys. And it was actually the kind of just the boring label that caught my eye. I was just like, yeah, that's just kind of a generic looking, just an odd looking label, kind of piqued my interest, though. You know, I know you can't always judge a book by its cover, and yeah, I thought I'd give this one a try because it was only $11.49, I believe. Yep, $11.49. Price tag still on there. So, didn't really know much about this whiskey here. So did a little bit of research. Found out, as I said, this whiskey's been around since 1945. And it's a corn whiskey, and kind of the same way that bourbon has to be at least 51% corn in the mash bill. This corn whiskey here, Mellow Corn Whiskey, has to be at least 81% corn in the mash bill to be labeled a corn whiskey. And I've read different things, but it sounds like this one here is closer to about 90% corn in the mash bill. 90% corn, and the rest, of course, rye and malted barley. So, wanted to give this a try, guys. I've read that this whiskey here is kind of like a bourbon on steroids, just because of the high corn content. So, really sounded interesting to me. Wanted to give it a spot on here. And another thing that I read about was one of the most popular kind of shot beer combos kind of around right now is this Mellow Corn along with a Miller High Life. And they call that a high and mellow. And different bars around the country are doing that shot beer combo. So thought I'd do that tonight. Change it up a little bit. Miller High Life. I actually, it's kind of funny. I just happened to have Miller High Life in my fridge when I read about that, and had already bought this whiskey. So just kind of worked out. And people give me crap sometimes. Certain family members, you know who you are out there, about drinking certain beers sometimes. Miller High Life here. I drink Coors Original. I'm from California, Sonoma County in particular. I grew up 5 minutes from in Petaluma, from Lagunitas, if anybody knows where that is, or what beer that is. Lagunitas is all around the country now, and I believe they were bought by Heineken, so they're worldwide now. But I like craft beers, Lagunitas. We have several craft breweries around here. Craft brews around here are pretty much just as big, if not bigger in some places than wine. And I do like craft beer, but there's always a place on my in my fridge for a Miller High Life or a Coors Banquet. I just depends on what mood I'm in, guys, and there's nothing wrong with that. If it's been pretty warm out lately, and if it's warm out, I'm not necessarily going to be drinking an IPA or some kind of stout or porter, of course. Nothing too dark, too heavy. I like certain light beers, and Miller High Life been around a long time, since 1903, and it's a classic. It really is, and I really enjoy Miller High Life, and I'm interested to see how these two kind of pair. This whiskey here and this beer. The thought being that they're both fairly grain forward. Of course, the corn whiskey here going to have a lot of corn character, that rye and malted barley, and then the Miller High Life consists of I believe malted barley, hops, and yeast. So it's got a very cereal type note to it. So really interested to see how this works out, guys. So let's open this bottle here of this Mellow corn. Give it a pour, and being bottled in bond. As I said, guys, it's kind of a funny thing to see a corn whiskey be bottled in bond. Of course, it's 4 years old. It's 100 proof. Distilled in one distilling season by one distiller. So pretty interesting, guys. Pretty interesting to see as I said, a corn whiskey be bottled in bond. So. I would take a look at this, and it's really light. As you can imagine. Another thing about corn whiskey is that it's not aged in charred oak barrels like bourbon is. It's aged in either uncharred oak barrels or used oak barrels, and so you're not going to have a lot of that barrel char, or any barrel char for that matter. Especially after that 4 years, it's not gonna gain a whole lot of color from the barrel. So we take a look at it, and it's really light, guys, really light. So give it a nose. And on the nose, you definitely get a good bit of corn, but there's also a good bit of spice on the nose as well. That rye spice. And which is funny because it's being almost 90% corn, right around 90% corn. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room for rye in there. So, but it's still definitely evident in the nose there. And you get some citrus. You get a little bit of honey in there as well. Let's give it a taste. Ooh. And on the palate, it's got a lot of spice. Prickles the tongue a little bit there, guys. And it does taste a little bit young, being a mostly corn whiskey. It's 4 years old, guys. It's 4 years old, but having that mash bill might taste a little bit younger than say a 4-year-old bourbon. So definitely has some youth to it, but it's got a good hit of rye, a good amount of good amount of corn in the on the palate there. Let's take another taste. So, rye spice, corn, definitely some honey in there, some citrus, a little bit of vanilla. A lot of the same things I was getting on the nose, I also get on the palate. So, Let's open this High Life here. See what we got going. Tastes good. Like I said, especially on a hot night. You know, it's a pretty warm day. That's I know other places have it worse, but you know, we've been getting into the 80s, 90s, close to 100 degrees lately. So you know, it stays pretty warm and stuffy in the house at night. And this is a nice, refreshing beer, guys. Nothing too fancy. I mean, I know a lot of, especially with the craft beer boom, people have given things like Miller High Life a lot of grief. And there's nothing wrong with this beer. It doesn't have any nasty taste to it. Unless, I don't know, unless your taste buds are just built for craft beer. But there's nothing wrong with this. As I said, it has a lot of, like a big cereal note to it. And I really like it. I really do. I like that grainy, you know, grainy cereal note with that, you know, simple ingredients, hops, yeast, malted barley. So Miller High Life is a good beer, guys, and it does taste just fine with the mellow corn here. They go just fine together. So if I see these two at a bar, I have never seen this at a bar, the mellow corn, but if I see these two at a bar, I'll definitely get them together. Good little pairing there, and that's it for this review. But got a few more coming up soon. As I mentioned, I have a bourbon that most everybody's probably heard of. I have a single malt Scotch, and then a blended Scotch whiskey as well. So that's it for this one, guys. Not gonna rate the beer on here. Maybe I'll rate the beer. It's gonna be. Just remember, this is a beer rating. It's gonna be a little bit different than the whiskey ratings, of course, but. You know, I give Miller High Life, I'd give it a solid, probably 85 out of 100. It's, you know, when it's warm outside, when it's hot outside, it's really, really good for me. It really hits the spot. So I give it an 85 out of 100 as far as beer goes. And the Mellow Corn whiskey, it's pretty good, guys. Pretty good. You know, it's different. It's definitely something different. So if you want to change up your, you know, your whiskey pattern, you know, if you're mostly a bourbon person or a Scotch person, just try to mix this in every once in a while, and I don't think you'll be sorry. It's something different. As I said, it's got some good spice. Definitely, as you would expect, a lot of corn on the palate there. And it's different, and it's good. I would give it probably, I'd probably give it an 84 out of 100. I think it's pretty good, and I'll buy it again. Shoot, for, you know what, for $11.50 a bottle, it probably came out to $12 out the door. I'm gonna rate it a little bit higher. I'll probably go like an 86 for that price. It's a good whiskey. And we're talking $12. So try it out, guys. Nothing wrong here. And go get yourself a high and mellow at the bar. And that's it for now. Look forward to talking to y'all soon. And until next time, cheers.